Hello and welcome to the Daily Conspiracy Podcast. We don't take days off because reptilians don't take days off.
Those reptilians.
Hey, do
Those
you know
reptilians that like to hang out on islands.
Maybe they do. Who knows? Maybe the reptilians aren't into that shit. But how you doing? You good? First show of the week?
I'm good, man. It's it's the weekend. I mean, it's been filled with conspiracy, Lee. You know, because I don't take days off. I don't know about you, but he just doesn't leave me.
Well,
Whether it's a phone in my hand, tablet, laptop, book. No, I don't fucking read books.
yeah, but it smell nice.
I love the smell of a good book.
I was just joking.
No, that's all I used to do in libraries. Just smell them. Didn't read them, just smell them.
That doesn't surprise me. The thing is, right? Before we get in, you know what we're going to ask you to do. Make sure you go subscribe to the Patreon. If you choose to, you can go to Patreon, search Daily Conspiracy Podcast. You will see our logo. Sign up to the Patreon. Do it. You'll get the ad-free podcasts. Please, wherever you're listening to us on, do the whole like, share, and subscribe if that's available to you. If you can leave a review, please leave a review. That is especially important to you people on Spotify. Spotify is basically the best way to get our podcast out to other people because they're really the only podcast sort of app that actually push podcasts. So it's massively important that you guys give us the reviews because that's how Spotify choose who they're going to push. So it's if you guys are commenting, which and we have a really fucking good, energetic listener base that comment a lot. That really helps. If you're new to the podcast and you've only listened to like 4 or 5 episodes, you sir or madam or ze or zer, you are slap bang in the window to leave a review. Now I think you've got to listen to 5 podcasts before you can leave a review.
Is that right?
Yeah. So if you've only listened to a few episodes from us, you might have the opportunity to go and give us that 5-star review that we so crave.
This is why I've not left us a 5-star review because I've not listened to 5 episodes.
Shh, don't say that, Ollie.
Who listens to themselves?
I listened to at least 5 of us so I could leave a review for the podcast.
I'll get my wife to do it.
Just leave it on.
But then she needs to know what I do.
Just leave it on, Ollie. You don't have to listen to it. It doesn't know.
That's a plan. What we got cooking tonight then, Lee?
Well, obviously there was
Bad choice of words.
Yeah, maybe. There was 3 million Epstein files released. So there's somewhere between 3 and 4 million, I believe, yet to be released. We might chat some further about that later on because I believe they're going to come out. I know that that was the sort of Trump admin and stuff now say, nope, that's it. Not getting any more. I think this is a slow drip disclosure of what's going on. You know, I think there's, I think they're preparing people. So something is anyway. That's because that's what kind of what I want to get into later on in the show. So I'm not going to bring that up now. So what I've got quickly here is before we get into the other food related topics.
Can I just quickly say why you're bringing that up?
Yeah.
I didn't used to. I've been stopped drinking on shows for quite some time, really, and all last week we hit Epstein, and for some reason, before we hit this podcast, I knew we were going to hit Epstein, and I thought I'm going to have a glass of wine. I'm going to need it.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand if you're drinking a very strong coffee right now. I get
Me?
it. No, our listeners, because it'll be probably morning.
It's too late.
And if you're drinking wine, good for you.
Anyway, I've got a quick clip here of when Ian Carroll was talking to Joe Rogan. they would talk about the Pizzagate emails. So I think this might be a good primer for the next clip we're gonna listen to in a few moments.
Those emails are bananas.
They're not explained.
They're talking about young kids who are going to be coming to a party to have fun. They're talking
They'll
about
be in the
pizza
pool, and they will
hot
be there for
dogs.
sure.
They'll-
$65,000 worth of hot dogs flown from Chicago for a
There's-
White House party.
The whole thing is like very weird.
Did you ever see the archived Instagram post from James Alefantis' Instagram?
No.
Because that's a dark place. So that there's so many layers to Pizzagate that they tried to cover up intentionally for very good reason.
Well, how about the logos?
Well, the thing is, I avoid, in the way I've talked about it, I've avoided all the symbols and logos and even some of the pizza stuff because I think there's so much more ripe, clear evidence that is way more powerful. And James Alefantis' Instagram account is a great example where...
Where can you find it online?
So you cannot find it on Instagram anymore. It's only been archived onto other sites, which is kind of sketchy because it's like, how do I know you're not adding photos and stuff? So you kind of have to dig and cross-reference over and over and over to make sure that you're getting sort of like the consensus, because everyone watched as it happened. So people like Liz Crokin, people like Alex Jones, like they saw these things come out. And you can find plenty of different archives of all of James Alefantis' Instagram posts. And there are things like photos of children with their arms taped to tables. And the caption is, looks like a fun time. And then people that have always been commenting on his posts, like the people that are interacting with his posts all the time, have even weirder Instagrams where it's like kill room. And there's a coffin that's open and things like that. There's like a photo of like a walk-in freezer and it's like, man, looks like you've been having a fun weekend. Things like that are just super dark. And a bunch of babies and a bunch of symbolism, a bunch of children. And it's all photos on their Instagram in plain daylight. And they all got scrubbed, obviously.
Jesus
and that's not to
Christ.
mention Podesta's art collection and the Marina Abramovich connections. It goes on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the Clintons with the Haiti scandals, with the cocaine in Arkansas. It's like,
Yep. I remember some of that stuff from the pizza documentary
Yeah,
that you made me watch.
I just think it's easy to forget. Like this Pizzagate in general was so... They tried so hard to memory hole it. So hard.
They tried so hard to ridicule it.
Ridicule it, memory hole it. Like, let's not forget as well, like the... some of the people that have come out talking about this stuff, the guy from, he was one of the journalists from InfoWars, murdered. The Isaac Cappy came out talking about this stuff, suicide. The lady that made the Fall of the Cabal documentary, which you were you talking about, her also apparently ended herself, which is nonsense, by the way. It was her and one other lady put that documentary together, and they were working on a sequel to Fall of the Cabal when she ended herself, and the lady she was working with doesn't believe she did it herself. She also backed away from making the documentary. That's why you've never seen a follow-up video to it. There was some funky stuff happened with the Mouthy Buddha, that who was putting like all sorts of stuff out. Like he was doing some like just excellent fucking research and like finding the fucking like tying these things together from photographs which had like little codes in them, which then took him. He was one of the ones that found all the back end stuff in. I can't remember what site it was. It wasn't Wayfair. There was another. It was like Balenciaga or something like that when that whole thing kicked off. But I think it was a different one, and there was like a back end way that he got into the Clear Web website, and it was I can't fucking. It was like there was a point of the website where you could click on, which was unmarked, which took you to the same website, or it appeared to be the same website. But then when you went looking for like children's swimwear, it had like nude children instead. And it was it. If you go if you go look for, obviously it was all blocked out. You know, anything that was like untoward and what could have been deemed illegal on his documentaries was blocked out. I believe you can, like, if you're outside of the UK, you can still find his stuff on BitChute. I know he's on Rumble. I don't know whether his whole back catalogue is on Rumble. I would imagine it would be. But like I've said before, Mouthy Buddha is like he seems like he's a guy that's in a bit of trouble these days, like psychologically. He is worth, like, his stuff is worth your time, especially right now. I'm
not going to mention names.
Go on, Ollie.
But no, I'm definitely not going to. I don't think the person would want. They might not want us talking about it anyway. But we know somebody who
we do.
Who's kind of was hitting something hard, disappeared, still alive, but went away from the subject, which I can see why. I can see how easy it is. Say that again, sorry, mate.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Okay, well, I'll leave it at that because I don't want to. You might tell me off if I say something.
Sorry. Yes, I do. Sorry, I do know exactly what you're talking about now. And for any of the OG listeners, we're not talking about an ex co-host.
Oh no, it's not an ex co-host,
yeah.
But somebody that hit a subject really hard, and it involves the whole child occult thing.
Yeah, and they disappeared. Never spoke to us again. Never, like literally, and for someone I used to speak to quite regularly, just disappeared.
But I kind of get it, Lee, because somebody could easily, it just takes a few words. Listen, drop it. We know where you live. We know who your family is. Drop it.
I think there is a really good argument to be made. The internet is controlled. I don't care what anybody says. Like I don't care what platform you're talking about. I think it's controlled. Even like X to an extent, everyone. It's probably the best place to post, but I'm finding considering that X is all open, it seems to be a very select amount of people that seem to get traction. And that's not, I don't mean us, but that when I'm saying that, because like I'm always a big believer that if you think you're shadow banned, maybe you should check your own content first.
Yeah.
Because 9 times out of 10, the reason people are saying the shadow banned is because people just aren't interested in what they've got to say. So it's not necessarily our content that I'm saying is shadow banned. I just, like, for whatever reason, we're not like tickling the algorithm enough to get our tweets out to people. Probably because we're not paying for we've done the blue check mark thing, but we don't pay like the full amount to X or anything like that. I think that's really the way you get the way you can get traction on X is to pay more money. But that being or be already famous, I think that's the thing. You need to pay with money or clout. Like if you've got clout, you don't need money. If you want clout, you need to spend money. That being said, I think there's a really good argument to be made that if we're talking about it, we're allowed to talk about it. And I don't necessarily know, regardless of what like the truthers kind of think they're doing. Are we just, are we let alone trusting the plan? Are we just following their plan?
I think there's a difference between like people like us, which are commentators on this, and then people like the person that we know that is doing hardcore research and poking their nose in where
I think that's fair.
It doesn't belong.
Look, fact of the matter is, I've only got it the other day. Like, I'm not. I don't. I know this is going to upset some people, and it's not like I dislike him. and I'm not convinced he's controlled. But David Icke, for instance, one of the OGs.
I'm upset already.
Right, but if there was any real validity or danger in what he was doing or saying, like, they could have got rid of David Icke ages ago, and it would have just been crazy conspiracy theorist fucking kills himself. Nobody would have batted an eyelid. It would have been, oh, well, the crazy lizard guy's gone and done it. It's always going to happen.
Yeah, it kind of would have worked in the early 2000s, wouldn't it? It pre 2010, they could have pulled that off.
I'm pretty sure you could do it now.
I don't know.
In the eyes of most people, I think you could do it now.
I seem to I do forget that we are
a minority of a minority.
We are a minority,
yeah.
Yes.
But also, see, the thing is, I saw a tweet from David. This is to tie it in with what I'm saying as far as reach goes and like the internet being controlled. And Elon Musk tweeted something, and he jumped immediately on it, saying, "Oh yeah, well that is unless your content's shadow banned on the supposedly open X, which isn't open at all. It's still controlled and still as shadow banned as ever." And I replied to David. I didn't get a reply off him saying, "David, I see every single one of your tweets and I don't follow you." Like, that's fucking algorithm push. I unfollowed David Icke ages ago on our account, and I still see his tweets daily.
What, you unfollowed David Icke?
Yeah, it's just like, don't think.
I feel like we need to talk about this before you do that. You know, I feel like it's a shared. It's like a.
It was an experiment.
It's mum and dad,
and the experiment worked.
Yeah, but that's like you've just hit one of the kids without asking me.
No, I just locked the creepy uncle out.
He needs to get rid of that tracksuit.
He does.
I bet he's still got it. He's still got
you
that
know what I
tracksuit
mean?
in the wardrobe.
To get back on the track, if they didn't want people to talk about this, like you cannot move on TikTok right now for Jeffrey Epstein stuff. You can't move from it. TikTok is the most censored social media platform now.
See, I can't tell if this whole Epstein thing right now is that we're supposed to get this Epstein stuff right now to cover some other shit up, or is it other stuff that covers the Epstein stuff up? I don't know, Lee.
It's like all of a sudden this so-called photograph of Jeffrey Epstein in Israel surfaced with him with long hair and a beard.
I heard today Katie Hopkins say she thinks Epstein's. She says anybody who thinks that Epstein's died in a prison cell is.
Well, I'll bring this up really quickly then, because I was kind of saving this for after dinner
show.
Yeah, but the it fits now, so I'm going to bring this article up from the Daily Mail. Statement announcing Jeffrey Epstein's death emerges from files, but it's dated a day before he killed himself. A federal statement announcing Jeffrey Epstein's death has surfaced in a newly released Justice Department file, but it carries a date that appears to precede the moment he was actually found dead.
You see, I'm gonna stick up for them here because this has happened before, Lee. Do you remember the BBC reported Building 7 falling down before it actually fell down? I wonder where you were going with that. Do you know what I mean? So this sort of stuff can happen, and I feel bad for them. You know, it's just a mistake.
Yeah. See, like, there's a load of stuff going on right now with the Epstein stuff, and I'm a bit right. I'm a bit miffed with conspiracy theorists when it comes to this. Because what we're doing is, you hear people going, "Oh, the world's a stage. The world's a stage." It's all like there's everything's controlled. We get given what we're given, and then in the same breath they go, "Jeffrey Epstein was an Israeli asset," and then you've got the other side now going, "Jeffrey Epstein was a Russian asset."
He doesn't look Russian,
but they don't. They don't. None of this jives for me as far as being like a single asset to a single country. Like we talk about breakaway civilizations and stuff like this. This is the breakaway civilization. I mean, it might not be like sometimes when we talk about breakaway civilizations, we talk about like incredible advanced technology or something like that.
Tartarian, all that jazz.
Or it could just be a subculture. A subculture of people that operate to different rules to the rest of the world.
I think that's probably what it is.
And in my eyes, that means so it's like if Jeffrey Epstein's got ties to Israel, you go, well, of course he has, because he's operating to a different rule book. He's got ties to Russia. Well, of course he has, because he's operating to a different rule book. And guess what? He's probably got ties to the fucking Chinese Communist Party. He's probably got ties to MI5. Do you know what I mean? It's a web rather than an individual alliance.
Well, is it what's his name? Is it Peter Mandelson?
Yeah.
So Peter Mandelson handles like a lot of the foreign affairs stuff that or whatever.
He was
Guys,
head of the American diplomat, wasn't he?
Jeffrey Epstein well into his pockets. You know, I think this is what Epstein did. He knew the goings on of loads of countries.
Well, there's even people talking now that he invented Bitcoin, isn't there?
If I hated him before, I hate him even more now.
But it would make sense if you were. I don't know. Like people have been trying to find out who this Yamamoto Taitoshi, something like that. I can't remember. And do you know what? Might have even Taitoshi might actually be a judo throw. But I'm
sounds
not,
like it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Or a rice dish. Probably raw.
Maybe. I'm going with throw. I haven't even looked into that. Someone was just someone that I know that sort of bang into his crypto was talking about this today, and he said, well, realistically, it makes loads of sense, doesn't it? If you've got someone out there that was wanting to do like trading people or parts of people or the juice of people, then you'd want to set up a payment system that's untrackable.
It makes sense.
But again, I've no idea how. It could just be a case of like.
No, I think you nailed it.
No, but right. I haven't. It's not me that's saying it, and I have no idea what the evidence is behind it. But it does kind of make sense. But again, at the minute, like if a fucking cat shits in the living room, like, and there's two people in the room, one person's going to blame Epstein, the other person's going to blame Israel. It's just the way that the world is at the minute. Is that the two main blame things at the minute are Israel and Epstein, or a mixture of the two. So it could just be that.
Well, before we get into the meat and bones of this, you've seen the thing with the microtransactions.
No.
And Epstein might be responsible for microtransactions.
I did see
games.
something like that. Yeah.
So it's interesting that you say the Bitcoin. It's almost like it is what it's like. Why do I always say that? It makes me sound so unintelligent. I'm extremely intelligent. But if this is true, this man is responsible for everything wank in the world right now. Literally everything. Cashless fucking societies. You can't really fucking shit games because you got to pay for anything good in the game now.
I think this is one of the problems I'm getting though was from the Epstein files.
Never mind eating children.
But like, I don't believe he was the fucking kingpin. That's the thing. I believe he's part of a vast network, a select network, I suppose we should call it, rather than vast network. And that's kind of getting lost. I feel that's getting lost in all of the. It's all Epstein. Epstein did this. Epstein did that. Epstein did the other. Where we're losing sight on it's. I always get drawn back to that podcast that Brett Weinstein was on, where he kept referring to him as a construct.
Yes.
How he's not. Jeffrey Epstein isn't what he proposed to be. And I think that's getting lost somewhere.
Yeah. I think you're right with that. That was I'm not even going to try and find it because I end up spelling it wrong, but I remember him saying that, and if I remember rightly, he said that he had there was something about that man that it gave him like a bad feeling.
Yeah,
that's what he said. What I know, he said I'm going to say this. So I watched, and you've watched, the interview with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, I can see, if you put all the children's stuff, all the horribleness aside.
Ollie's going to get himself cancelled. Carry on.
You can see why that man was successful with what he did. The way he talks, he's very confident. He's in a situation there where he's been interviewed after he's done all this shit and been found out for it, and he still has the fucking confidence of the devil. Yeah, I said that.
I think there's an untouchable nature to people like that. You know, I'm more confused by this. One thing I will say is, like, I know we just mentioned the Daily Mail article. I don't believe the guy's dead.
I don't believe he's dead.
No.
If you'd have asked me a couple of years ago, I'd have been like, yeah, maybe the guy was taken out. But I think the guy took himself out of the equation.
No, I questioned it from that one picture of the body. When you see the body and you match the ears up, like years ago when that first happened, I've questioned it. But more and more with the information that's coming out about it, I remember Megyn Kelly, I think it was, did a story on this, and I'm sure she said that this isn't the last we've heard of the Epstein story. This might not even be the last we've heard of Epstein.
Can you imagine if, like, 2027, he's just like, I didn't die. All these fuckers in prison. I did jack shit.
Yeah.
And here's why.
Imagine, like, see, that's the... I always look for what's not being talked about, right? So, what's if we go down a QAnon road here, right?
Yep.
Because this is we'll have to get. This is what I was going to kind of keep for the end of the show, but we've kind of gone backwards from what we originally had planned, which is fine.
It's all right. I've got the meat and bones ready.
Mm-hmm. It's like I said before. If you're talking about it, you're probably allowed to talk about it. So when we look at the Epstein thing, and especially when you consider QAnon and what QAnon was supposed to be.
Yep.
So you go, right, why are we getting these documents now? We were told we weren't getting any documents, then we get 3 million. Now we're being told, right, there is 4 million left. You're definitely not getting those. You know, well, you said we weren't getting these. So that would lead me to believe that at some point over the course of the year, we're going to get the rest of those documents. Because, I mean, this is why there's still stuff coming out, like even today, that you haven't seen before, is because it takes time to go through 3 million things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't like, obviously that treasure trove of information isn't going to stay fresh forever. And the minute that well is dried, you're going to get a lot of people looking for more stuff and wanting more stuff. And I keep thinking we're going to get it. So if there's one thing that I think is, I'm still even on the fence about this. I was going to say, if there's one thing I think I've confirmed in my own mind, is that the Trump administration doesn't want this information out. However, can caveat myself there saying, if there was anything in the files that would have actually really led to problems for Trump, we need to remember that the Democrats had these files for 4 years and didn't release them.
Also, and I was thinking this today, so Trump's he's a rich man. I don't care what people say when they say, oh, he went fucking bankrupt and so, this, that, and other. He needs to do blah, blah, blah. He's got enough money to chill out, you know? But he wanted back in. And not only that, you've got Elon Musk that has been talking about the Epstein files. Why would these people even get involved if they're involved in what may be released? It doesn't make sense to me. It makes more sense that they would try and get it.
It makes sense to me.
It makes sense that they would get involved.
Yeah, you get ahead of it. Like the best way to protect yourself would be to be in complete control. I don't know if that's the case. I'm not saying it is the case, but it makes sense. I thought those emails were definitely fake from Elon, but it seems that there was a back and forth with email and in Elon where Elon was asking to come to the island and tell me when the wildest parties are.
What if that he actually meant to, he heard that there was good parties on Epstein Island, didn't know anything about
he was a convicted paedophile then.
Okay, that'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it's all odd. It's all very strange. Very strange. Some people have put forward that that Elon is the guy that's spearheaded this whole operation in the first place, and what he was actually doing was trying to get Epstein to out himself over email for something he could use in the future. I don't know whether that's just some copium from Elon fans or whatever. But yeah, like I say, if there was anything that could have harmed the right wing, this is why I think we need to stop it with the right left paradigm. It doesn't make sense for the Democrats to hold on to them if if they were truly fighting with Trump and trying to keep him out of the White House. Why not put this stuff out on the run up? And they were supposedly trying to get him for all sorts of different things, and then you've got these allegations towards Trump which are in the files. And to be fair, the person that was that said it was deemed uncredible or incredible, whichever I should have said, and referred for psychiatric treatment after it. But we'll never truly know the fucking the truth behind any of that, I don't think. So we need to look at why we're getting the files now.
Mm-hmm.
See, this to get back to the Epstein being dead and why I went down this rabbit hole is what's not been said about Epstein. Considering QAnon, how come there has never been like or at least I haven't heard like a good conspiracy theory point of view that it was the QAnon white hats, for want of better words, that took Epstein out of the prison cell, replaced his body, and took him into custody. Why hasn't that been said as a theory? Everything else has been said. He did it himself. Somebody else did it. He was smuggled out by the Clintons.
Just so happened the cameras weren't working.
It just happened the cameras weren't working. But
It's perfect.
nobody's kind of put the theory forward that the good guys that are hopefully behind putting the files out got him out because they and essentially put him into witness protection.
If it was me, and I was one of these higher ups, and Jeffrey Epstein's killed himself, he's in my custody, the body. I'd say, guys, at some point they're going to say he didn't die. Somebody needs to film like a good.
There has to be laws against that, mate.
I don't give a fuck. Just film his face. Someone maybe pull his cheek and that show that it's Epstein. Pull a tooth out.
Yeah, but would you do that, risking the fact that you could go to prison over it?
No, I'd get permission.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm reasonably convinced there's laws against that.
Well, there shouldn't be. It's Jeffrey Epstein. Surely they knew if he actually did die in prison, they're going to think that he's still alive. You do know that. Yeah, I know that. We need to film him. Yeah, it needs to be better than that. That could be anybody.
I don't know. Even if you filmed it, people would say it's fake. So,
speaking of things that people might think could be fake, or could be bullshit. So we both like Asmongold. It's one of the only things that me and Lee have in common. I think we're seeing somebody turn into a conspiracy theorist in real time with this Epstein files, because he vowed quite some time ago, because his mum was a conspiracy theorist, that he didn't like conspiracy theories. But he seems to be going down the conspiracy route.
He is
definitely flirting. And I know we played a bit at Asmongold last time, but I've got to play this because this is wildly. It seems that not only were they doing shit on Jeffrey Epstein on Epstein Island with underage children, but they might have been eating them as well. So let me bring this up. Take it away, Asmongold.
They found a code word for human meat? Wait, what?
Jerky.
Hope you are feeling better. Did we analyze the jerky? Why didn't we get jerky this week? I also added more to the jerky and ginger lemongrass. Thank you so much. Super cool. Beef jerky, delicious. Jojo is here and we'll walk the jerky over to Jeffrey. We'll walk the jerky over to Jeffrey. Why would jerky walk around? Why would it do that? Delicious lunch, beef jerky. Steve and I are very grateful above all for your friendship. Some of these emails are so wholesome, aren't they? It's too bad they eat kids. A small insulated bag would be fine. I don't remember checking it. No need for crazy amounts of ice. One should do. There is one bag of beef jerky in the fridge. Please get it. Also, Blank has more at her place. Please get it from her as well. I suppose it needs to be in a cold, insulated bag. Just wanted to touch base about jerky. J.E. said he was going to start eating regular food again, so he might be eating less jerky. He said he has 6 bags of it in a downstairs freezer. Why would you freeze freeze jerky. Steve needs a 6 to 8 ounce portion of jerky. I gave you all the jerky we had, and it lasted only half the amount of time it was meant to. I felt like it was more important for you to have the jerky to eat during my time off. My plan is to make a batch before I leave for LSJ, and some of that will go to Steve, and the rest will go to you at LSJ when I arrive. Little St. James Island. And that's what LSJ must mean. So logically, that means that they were doing this off of the island. Steve Hansen is sending jerky to your attention overnight. I believe it should be enough to get him through. Jeffrey Epstein is asking to bring him more jerky. I'm flying in on Friday. I will bring jerky. Is there a time I could come say hi and drop off the beef jerky? And that's from Jeffrey Epstein. Francis has time to come tomorrow. Show me how to make it. Jerky class anyone. He will bring you to taste his new jerky recipe from the restaurant. He sends a warm hello. He's working at a restaurant called Cannibal. Guys, the restaurant's called Cannibal and Cooks. Wait for it. Beef jerky and steak. Can blank make some jerky? I think we should landscape all around the house to use the water if possible. If the main house is not enough. Are there any recorded images of Jeffrey Epstein with beef jerky at all? No, there are no recorded or publicly known images of Jeffrey Epstein with beef jerky. Who sends beef jerky to a lab for analysis? Wait, what? I was looking for the beef jerky as I knew it was in my suitcase, and I thought that maybe I left it on the beach, only to find a small plastic bag near my dog's bed. I'll email Francis to make us some more, as I need 6 to 8 ounces to send to the lab, and I'll forward to Francis the info to send to the lab directly. Guys, I think something's going on. What's this here? Commercial. Apparently it's his last girlfriend who's active on Twitter right now. Check the mail. Names for hers again. Oh boy, oh boy. People are saying this is Jeffrey Epstein's last girlfriend. And this is the same name as inside of the files. And
so I'll put it off there because that's another. It might even be another show that with Jeffrey Epstein's ex-girlfriend.
I've been through her ex account.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, she's very defensive of Jeffrey. They're very defensive.
Interesting.
So he's being fitted up. He's innocent. That.
Oh well, I might. Let's go to the jerky first because that is fucking like. What else could that be?
Drugs.
You keep it. Hang about. No, but I'm not going to have that because that's what a lot of people were saying. Fucking Pizzagate. The whole Pizzagate thing was like things that they were basically ordering cocaine. They weren't ordering children. They were ordering cocaine. I heard that. So the jerky thing. Why would you? I'll walk the jerky over. I'll walk the drugs over.
Yeah.
Why would you not say I'll bring the jerky round?
It's just
I'll walk it over.
It's just a different way of saying the same thing.
It seems a bit. I mean, I see what you say. You could.
I don't know
say
why you
like
say.
that.
See, the thing is, I don't know why you're sending human meat to a lab for testing. You would send drugs to a lab for testing for purity.
Unless he's got his own lab and he wants to know if it's a real human before he eats it.
I think that's reaching more than drugs.
Okay, so if it's drugs, I mean, you're right. It could be drugs with the lab thing, but
it makes more sense to me. But I mean, what I'll do is like the language that I use in those emails makes more sense to me if it is drugs. It might not be drugs. However. What I'd say is that there does seem to be, or at least there is. I think it's at least the FBI think there is a correlation between child abuse terminology and material and code words involving food. So that's interesting because it's more code words involving food. So. It could very well be it, but to lean back into where you're taking this, maybe if they're fucking using food as code words for the kids, it's because
They're eating
they
them.
intend for them to be food.
Hot dogs.
Pizza, hot dogs, pasta, spaghetti, all this stuff has been used. Cheese pizza.
I do, to kind of play devil's advocate there, I do see the drug thing. Because I heard that with, I think it was Tim, what's his name? Conspiracy Tim.
Oh, he's not conspiracy. He's like the Tim Pool.
Tim Pool, yeah. He's got some conspiracy stuff. But Tim Pool, I think he said that the whole pizza thing was, he thought it was drugs. The whole Pizzagate thing, he thought it was drugs.
I think if it wasn't for the fact that terminology has been used elsewhere, for something completely unrelated, I think it would make more sense if it was drugs. You would hope it would be drugs, but the fact that terminology has been known before Pizzagate, then it doesn't really make sense. The jerky thing's new. Like that's
the jerky
new.
thing is new. Yeah.
And I don't, if I've been
the drug thing would make sense if it wasn't for the fact that when you look in at the Pizzagate thing, and Pizzagate is it definitely is linked to Jeffrey Epstein. The fact that there it is crazy fucking pictures that some of these big people held in their possession, that I can't understand why any grown up would, or anybody would fucking want in their house, that has pictures of children that are tied to shit. There's pictures in art museums with children being chopped up. That's not just fucking art.
No. Yeah, 100%. And there's, there's even the paintings of the kids which are in the drained pool.
Mm-hmm.
That pool's been found now. There's
you were showing me the hotel the other day that had been used for an advert video. And you can clearly, before there was a film of children walking around very fucking inappropriately being filmed in that.
It's too many coincidences. It's too many coincidences to not point to fuckery. And see, the reason I wonder whether that is terminology for drugs, because let's face it, I mean, it wouldn't be out of the question, would it? If you're trafficking children on and off an island for whatever purposes, are we saying they weren't doing drugs? Is that what we're saying?
Well, did you hear about that? He'd ordered a huge. There was basically a huge vat of acid on the island.
I heard this.
Yeah, there was I think it was sulfuric. I can't say that word.
Sulfuric.
That type of the bad type, the RoboCop acid. Where the guy comes up, melting. There was that type of acid on the island and a big fucking vat of it. What else would you want to do with that? Apparently, Epstein had a little trapdoor to the sea as well.
There's also see, that trapdoor to the sea, I'm not convinced is a trapdoor to the sea.
What do you think it is? Like just something for him to dip his toes in?
I think it's a basement. I think it's a basement that's been purposely flooded.
What, to get rid of evidence?
Get rid of evidence, stop people going down there. Makes it very difficult to investigate. Because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because if you just chucked your bodies down there and it's just like a little like it's just a hollowed cave system that feeds out into the ocean, your bodies would wash up back on your beach.
Yeah.
So it's not for that. It's not for getting rid of bodies.
Okay.
It's also high on. It's also the water level was very high up to the door, so it's not like you could have got a boat in underneath to smuggle people in on and off the island. It could have been for scuba divers. I'd take that, but I think it is far more likely that there was a dungeon-esque element to that building, and it has been purposely flooded before the island was evacuated, and not evacuated because, as we've seen from that influence that went onto the island, it's got a full staff there.
Question: how many children that were children, like children, have come out about this? Who would probably be adults?
I think it's
now?
none. I think it's none. I think
there's been underage girls, definitely, but I mean,
and even that
we're
list
hearing
isn't
that
high. But I keep saying that, don't I? I keep saying, where are the victims?
So that bit might make sense.
What?
They're eating them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you've it's. I don't think it doesn't have to be eating. I think some sort of element of sacrifice is going on here. I think we're losing the sight of, and it's as much as it fucking like pains me to say this. Like, look at the you shared the video with me the other day. I think I'd already seen it. The opening ceremony for the Winter Olympics, where they set fire to a fucking burning pentagram with the torch. Like, people say, "Oh no, it wasn't." Fuck you! It was a fucking pentagram. Have another look. Take your finger out of your bum hole for a second and look at the pentagram.
I do that.
It's all right. Look at all of the like. We know that one of the biggest intakers for Epstein Island and going over there were the great and the good of music and pop culture, and we constantly see satanic imagery.
Yep.
In movies, we see satanic imagery from actors when they're just there throwing fucking horns up all over the place.
Yep.
We see it never more evident in fucking music. Christ almighty, like the amount of podcasts we've done where we've talked about satanic imagery in music. Like, but by just saying they're eating them, I think you're burying the satanic aspect of this, and the fact that this is again what irritates me with just fucking blaming Israel or just blaming fucking Russia for it. I think we have a secret society.
We do,
and I think that no, we should never be 100% on stuff. We don't know.
99.5%.
You can be, but that's what I'm saying. We can't throw words around like we do, because we just don't know. If we do that, we're no better than any of the other.
Say he's 100% Lee.
Yeah, but it's just kind of a fucking joke, isn't it? But we can't know this. I think it is. I think that's what all the evidence fucking points to. But by blaming another fucking nation or something like that, it takes away the fact that this is. I think this is ultranational. I don't think this is controlled by borders.
Did you see the stuff? And I'll kind of take it away from the Cannibal stuff for a second, but
easy for you to say.
Did you see the stuff about Zelensky discussing the war?
I did. I also saw there was a meeting. But I also saw there was emails going back and forwards about how Epstein and was it Bill Gates as well and someone else had an idea of how to get rid of the poor people, And that was one of the real problems. And I don't think that was meaning they wanted to raise the fucking bar on poverty and get rid of poverty. When they're saying get rid of the poor people, I think they mean get rid of the poor people. And there's been a lot of people saying that they believe. Like there was talks about like pandemic preparedness and getting the WHO involved. And the way he finished that, and you can read this email and take it in a multitude of different ways. But one of the ones where Jeffrey Epstein was talking about pandemic preparedness, and he said, "Yeah, and we're going to try and get the WHO, the WHO on board with this as well." And then that was the end of the paragraph. And then when he signed the email off, he signed the email off saying, "I really hope we can pull this off."
Who said we can pull this off? Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah. That was before the pandemic.
So we've got microtransactions in gaming, we've got Bitcoin, we've got the fucking pandemic. What an absolute devil.
Well, see, I put this to you. I say if that's what he's talking about with the pandemic and get the WHO involved to sort the narrative out, I don't think he's talking about the pandemic when he's talking about it. I think he's talking about the mRNA vaccine.
Right.
How do you get rid of the poor people? You stop them breeding. We know it's had like I think as dangerous as it seems to be for people's health, and I'm still going with this. People are upset with me every time I say it, but like we're getting the numbers. I don't, in my day-to-day life, I'm not seeing people just fucking drop dead like people were predicting.
You're not seeing the amount you'd wanted to see.
Well, certainly the people I wish it would have happened to haven't. However, like I know more people which have struggled to have children or bring a child to term than I do know people that I think that are harmed by the vaccine. I do believe people are being harmed by the vaccine, but what I'm saying is I don't think that was the primary purpose for it. I think the primary purpose was fucking reproduction.
You know, I get around a lot. I travel around the country quite often with my job.
Well saved.
That too as well. I don't see a lot of kids. I don't see a lot of people pushing prams.
I don't know. I see lots of kids. I've got a kid. You must see lots of kids.
I don't see the amount that I think we should have. So I think I think that conspiracy is definitely right.
I think you're reaching.
I don't think I am.
I think you're reaching because you're at work when the schools when like people at school.
Yeah, but babies in prams they don't work. The mums don't work that push the prams. I don't see a lot.
You have childcare. You know, people work.
I think there's something. I think that conspiracy that people are having kids.
I think the birth rates are down. I think to just say birth rates are down because I can't see any. I think that might muddy it a little bit.
No, but like the jobs that I've done, I've always been out and about in towns and cities and what have you.
You've got an eye for a child, Ollie. Clearly, I'm sorry.
Yeah, a mum with a pram.
Oh,
I recognise it. You know. But yeah, I definitely think that's the thing. Just from the eyes, you know. Take note. But I don't know. Were they eating kids on Jeffrey Epstein's island? Or was jerky code for something? You're probably right. Jerky was probably code for something completely fucking different.
That sounds like drugs to me.
What if it's something that is a drug and also related to children dying?
I take that. The chrome.
The chrome, yeah.
I take it.
Do you know what I mean? I'll have
Yeah.
some. The jerky was good. The jerky, it's the way they're speaking about this. I mean, I've never been one for the whole drug thing. I've back in the day I smoked a bit of weed and did some other stuff, but they want a lot. There was no, that was a lie. There was like someone had said that was great weed, or that would get mentioned. I can't imagine these people talking about that when they're fucking billionaires through email, needing to speak about it like that. Just let's meet up again. Let's do the same as we had as what we did last time. That was amazing. That's all they need to say. The jerky thing, I think could be. I think you could be right with the drug thing, but I think the drug could also be the chrome.
Yeah, I think the fact is, when you have any of these people talking in the way they're talking about things and in code,
Yep,
it's not good. It's not going to turn out to be good or normal. It's a bad thing. Be it drugs, be it. See, the reason I don't think, it's like the human meat thing, is because there was already so much sketchy stuff with the way they were talking about people and kids in those emails that wasn't in code. It makes you wonder, like when you've got one of them saying, "I hope you had a good night last night." Your littlest girl was a little bit naughty, I think was one of the lines. It's just weird fucking things to say.
Yeah, she didn't do it. That probably means she didn't fucking do as she was told. So
yeah,
that's what that probably means,
and
that's why I returned the damage. That to put it blunt.
but if
that's
that's
probably
if that,
means.
but the thing is, if that's what's there and not really in code, then what?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I see what you say. Yeah, because that bit isn't in code. So why is the jerky bit in code?
Yeah, and it is in code. Like I've been in circles when I was younger where like certain words were used to so if text messages or when you were speaking to somebody, it didn't sound like you were talking about drugs. And newsflash, any time anyone turns around and uses a code word for drugs and speaks to somebody, it's really obvious you're still talking about drugs. Nobody knows 100 Veras. Nobody.
Do you think? No, I've already asked that question. So I'm fucking getting a brain fire here. The whole jerky thing, though, for me, now that you've said that it could be drugs, doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because these people didn't think these emails would come out. But if the email said, can you get some of that cocaine? Can you get some more of that heroin?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would. Whoever's on that list, that would put them in a bad light. Oh, so-and-so, he was doing cocaine on Epstein Island. Okay, he didn't eat a kid, though. Do you know what I mean? So these were all in emails.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just but so these people that were emailing this didn't think this information would ever come out. But they're using they're just using code for drugs.
I think they did know that this information might come out, and I think the reason they knew this information might come out is because of the Hillary Clinton email leak with WikiLeaks, when she's like there's an email with Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, I remember this.
I can't remember it verbatim, but I know it finishes with her saying, "I'll be in the back garden sacrificing a chicken to Moloch," and that's weird. It's a weird thing to say.
But were these emails going on after that?
No, yes, they would have been. Yes,
right. So that would say
that would be a reason to go right. We need to start fucking talking in code here, guys.
Or a reason to just go. Actually, I'm going to give this up and not go to this island anymore. But what have we said about the chrome?
Oh, well, that's yeah.
What if it's so fucked? Because they can get drugs anywhere, Lee. Rich people can get drugs anywhere.
Yeah, I've always wondered, like, so first, what? Just let me, before anyone jumps in the comments, I just want to point out that the Hillary Clinton emails were the first place we started seeing the Pizzagate related code. So they were still talking in code in those emails, right? Mm-hmm. So I do know that, but there was obviously, like I said, the Moloch stuff where it wasn't quite as much code as you would imagine. So what did you say after that? I just wanted to point that out. So
I didn't know that. So when you said this could be drugs, and I said I don't think so, but then you kind of you turned me a little bit, and I thought, you know what, actually it could be drugs.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're saying that these people that were speaking in code about beef jerky, about jerky, knew that there was a leak with the Clinton emails, and they still chose to get the jerky from the island, why would they not just get the jerky from somewhere else? Because to me, to get the jerky on the island is too much of a risk, unless that's the only place that they can get that type of jerky.
No, because they weren't getting it from the island, they were taking it to the island.
Okay, they're taking it to the island, but it's all to do with the island. So there's something with this jerky that is to do with the island. Just don't go to the island.
Well, no, because they were having the parties on the island. That's why I think it's drugs.
Yeah, but they knew that there was a risk. So heroin addicts, yeah, when they know there's a risk that they're going to get caught by the police or, for shoplifting or whatever they're doing, robbing somebody's house or mugging somebody, they still do it because they need it. They need that they need that heroin. That's what they need.
Mm-hmm.
These rich people could get whatever drug this was, they could get anywhere. This is what I'm saying. But there's something surrounding this island and all of this that they could only get with this community of people. So the jerky thing could definitely be something else.
Yes, yeah, it could do, or it could just be, it could be coke, it could be anything, and that was the code word they used for that. So it's like, look, we're going to the island for the weekend. Deborah's going to take some fucking jerky with her. I've got some jerky. There was some jerky left in the drawer.
Does it not make more sense though? I see what you're saying there, but you've just told me that they knew there was a risk factor. So they've seen that the
of course there's a risk factor. They're human trafficking and they're having sex parties on the island. But at that point, when you're trafficking people to an island for some sort of sex ring, Ollie, smuggling the drugs to the island is not the biggest priority at that point. That's not the factor that's going to get you in trouble. I've got a reasonable idea that if you had like a bunch of like underage people in a hot tub and the police busted in and they saw the hot tub and then they saw that you had a small bag of cocaine on the side, I'm pretty sure that the small bag of cocaine would be the second most important thing in that situation.
I'm just saying that I think the drug was definitely something different that we don't know what it was.
Could be. I mean, like, I've often had this thought about what's the We know, like the drugs that are around now is like it's essentially like we've got maybe some different names for them, and maybe we get slightly better versions of them now. But the drugs we get now are still pretty much the same drugs we got when I was at school. I don't believe as an industry that's what happens, and that's what I don't think everybody went as soon as we got like Coke went, oh, this is good. Let's keep this as like the high profile drug forever, shall we? I think there's drugs that we don't know about.
Oh, 100%.
High profile drugs that we don't know about.
Rich and famous drugs, yeah.
Yeah. So, but again, it almost, were they doing stuff like, were they human trafficking? Yes. Were some of these girls and boys underage? Yes. Did terrible things happen to them? Yes. Do we know where they are? Absolutely not. So at that point, it almost doesn't. The jerky thing almost doesn't matter, because there's so much evidence that there was debauchery there anyway. So regardless of what the code is for, it's just more debauchery.
Well, do you know there's one of the ways we could find out more about what's gone on?
I love jerky.
I like jerky as well.
I love jerky. I love pizza. Two of my favorite things, and I wish they'd leave.
Pizza.
I wish they'd leave my. I had a pizza in Italy actually, which had some sort of jerky on it. It was delicious. But I just wish they'd leave all my favorite things alone. Be nice that.
I like a decent hot dog as well. You know.
Yeah, I'll go hot dog
Every now and again.
I think. Oh, given the situation,
got to have onions on it.
Given the situation, hot dog over burger maybe.
Yeah.
If you got to walk around,
Unless it's a smash burger, I like them.
No, but sometimes they can be a bit greasy and a bit drippy, isn't it? Whereas like hot dogs tend to be a cleaner food to just eat while you stood up.
Do you know what doesn't make sense when you're talking about some of the food things that, if it was drugs, like we've got one last piece of pizza.
How are we going to split it between us? Yeah, we need to work out how thinly to slice it. Yeah, doesn't make sense. Again, this is the thing. Do we know 100% what it is? Nope. Can we pretty much like guarantee they're talking in code? Absolutely.
Yeah, because they say it's like, I think there's one that says well used as well or something like that. Like,
so I've got two quotes here. I'm not going to bother pulling them up because they're dead small. This one was shared yesterday by Bricks News. I was just in. Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov says Epstein files have exposed the pure Satanism of Western elites. And then, so that was shared
how
by.
They put the word Western in there. That seems quite fitting.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. It's not complete. It's not proven either way if this is just a Western problem.
I don't think it will be a Western problem. I mean, fucking outfit. I
It
think
seems to be.
I think there's Epstein Islands probably everywhere.
No, but it seems to be. It seems to be a Western problem. You look at like the you can argue with the I think we know Epstein was having dinner with some of the most prominent gender scientists and gender affirming care advocates in the world on his island.
For fuck's sake, he's responsible for
yes,
as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's fair to say that the explosion in like trans is a Western issue.
Yeah.
So if you look at this stuff, it's like it seems to become like are we fucking?
He
Sodom?
created trends.
No, but like are we Sodom now? But the Jay Anderson also tweeted this. I don't know when this was for. I've got the clip, but I'm not going to play it because it's in Russian. So it's only
I
15
speak
seconds.
perfect Russian.
It's only 15 seconds in Russian, but the translation is: they are used to filling their bellies with human flesh and their pockets with money for centuries, but they must realize the vampire ball is ending.
Interesting. When's it ending?
Well, I mean, I'm guessing he's talking about this current situation we're in, Ollie. This is the thing, right?
It's interesting they use the word vampire.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, the filling bellies with human flesh also brings up questions.
It does. I agree. But when we were talking then about the beef jerky and it possibly being chrome, and I know I've said this on the podcast before about the vampire thing and adrenochrome, but it doesn't have to be a guy that
It doesn't have to be that either.
No, I mean, it doesn't have to be a guy that lives in a coffin. But they could be the definition of a vampire. They really could be. These people could be that.
Yeah, it could be the reason I don't like using the word for it is because I think it adds too much mysticism to something that I think is I think it's fucking
but if what
solid fucking real shit that's going on here.
But just to kind of stick up for myself here, if the chrome is something that does make them live longer or look younger for longer, and what we were speaking about before about them dishing out a retarded clone every now and again, like Joe Biden, when the real Joe, he's on the chrome and he's good, living it out on another island probably now.
Yeah.
That could well be a thing, and
if I had to guess,
that would explain a vampire if they're taking something that is, if they're taking something that is from another human that makes them live longer.
That's fair. Yeah, it's I know what you. Yeah, I get what you're trying to get to. I just don't want to use the word for it. Because, like I say, I think
you're just trying to be the sensible one, aren't you?
No, I think it mystifies that, and I think it takes the gruesomeness away from it. I think it almost caricatures and cartoonizes.
But it would explain these billionaires.
Well, no,
because this is how we can sort you out forever.
But we can explain this with fucking science right now. We know through lab experiments with mice and other animals that if you take the blood of a younger animal and inject it into an older animal, it has an age-reversing effect to it.
Yeah, we were speaking about that YouTuber guy that's in his 50s that drinks that injects his own son's blood into himself.
Yeah. So, this is the thing. I think there could be. Right. If you get a cow and you just want the sirloin, right? You just want the sirloin. You don't just cut the sirloin out and you fucking...
Is that its ass?
No. That's the rump, Polly. You don't just cut the sirloin out and then bin the cow. You take the sirloin, you take the rump, you take the fucking ribeye, you take you take the ribs, you take the fucking
testicles,
all those bits, probably
sweetbreads.
You do that. You take all the stuff, yeah.
So yeah, if you're Chinese, you eat the bones and everything. Yeah, I get it.
I don't see why that can't be a similar situation here. So what were we doing? Well, we're doing the human trafficking for the sexy stuff. Then what we do? Well, after the sex stuff, we're we're gonna use the blood to fucking because it juices us up, it makes us feel younger and stuff, right? Okay. Like, what's the adrenochrome bit? Well, the adrenochrome bit is like that's the adrenalized blood when they're under extreme stress and fear. That maybe it doesn't have some sort of mystical power, but maybe it like all signs would show that it might be like a pretty fucking potent drug. So then you've got that aspect of a drug. I don't think this doesn't necessarily have to be a single prong or single use resource. I think there's layers to this, and like I say, the one thing that I think is getting lost is the fact I think there is a religious element to it, like a hidden religion, a religious element to it, a cult element.
I think you'll find I'll say within the next 5 years, I think there will be proof that adrenochrome is a thing.
Yes, I think you're right, and I think we get it this year. If I'm honest, I think there's going to be something this year.
You think that could be the disclosure that Trump talks about?
I think we've just got to we just got to hope. I don't know.
Hope the good guys are the good guys.
I'm not convinced.
No, me neither, mate.
Yeah, I'm not convinced by that at all. What I do find very strange is there doesn't seem to be any evidence, regardless of the email where Elon was saying when's the wildest parties. He doesn't appear to have ever actually gone there. And the wild thing is, to me, is that news outlets and commentators are coming down harder on Elon Musk, who doesn't appear to have gone there, even if he has, and there's two different ones as well. There's two different things. There's one where he was saying when's the wildest parties on the island, but then there was another email with him basically saying it doesn't seem to be a good way for him to spend his time when he's got so much, when he's so busy.
That was considered building the best starship.
So that I just find it really strange that of all the people that have been kind of confirmed, and then all the people that have been redacted and we don't actually know who they are. There's pictures of who's the lead singer of the Rolling Stones?
Mick Jagger.
Pictures of Mick Jagger sat next to Jeffrey Epstein. And that's the weirdest one. That was on an Asmongold video as well. I saw that. And no, but the really weird thing is they're eating this. This goes to you. I should have had this ready for the show actually, but it's just a still image anyway. They're eating plain rice,
right?
And this.
How do you know plain from a picture? Could be
because it's just rice. It's just white rice. White. And next to the white rice is this weird pinky white meat. It doesn't look like chicken because it's too pinky.
Right.
But it's not beef and it's not pork. And you're these are two incredibly rich, wealthy people at a dinner party. Why are they eating what appears to be under or raw meat with plain white rice? It's a strange photograph. You look at it and you go, "Oh, that's weird."
It couldn't be fish now.
No. It was meat. It was pink. It was clearly flesh. It was some type of meaty flesh.
I wish you'd have brought this up now. I wanted to see
it. It's one of those ones where you go, "Oh, it's Jeffrey Epstein and Mick Jagger." Of course, why not? And but it's only when you look at the plate you go, this just doesn't look like the meal that
Jeffrey Epstein and Mick Jagger
Epstein and Mick Jagger would have.
They've eaten Mick, do you want to come round to my house? I'm going to give you some plain rice and some
meat, undercooked meat, yeah.
Yeah,
strange.
you'd expect like a gourmet looking meal, wouldn't you?
Yeah. It's these people have the money to have eaten in some of the best restaurants, in some of the highest profile locations, in some of the most affluent places in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It just struck me as fucking odd.
I didn't actually look this up, but I remember hearing something about this restaurant, Cannibal. Was it not a famous restaurant?
I think it was, yeah, and there was a whole thing, but then that was kind of muddied as well, because then there was a bunch of, I don't want to say fake, but what?
It's a good name for a restaurant. I'm not going to lie. If I saw a restaurant, anyway, like if me and you, when we went to America, we saw a restaurant, Cannibal, we're like, Dave, let's go there.
No.
I'd want to try it.
I wouldn't go in a restaurant called Cannibal something.
Like, just for the experience.
No.
I won't for 1 second think that I might be eating a human.
Then don't go in a business with Cannibal written above the door.
I'd be intrigued.
It sounds like
just in case I happen to eat a human by accident,
Well, that's so it's a really good way of making sure you don't.
I get you're very protective. I get that, but I'm just saying, nothing ventured.
I still say, obviously, I've eaten McDonald's burgers over the years. Oh, sorry, what did we call them? McJennings? Was it McJennings?
Yeah, McDonald's is great. McJennings.
Yeah, McDonald's is like perfect. The like epitome of food.
Yeah, the Big Mac was not actually somebody like named after somebody that.
No. But yeah, like McJennings, for instance, they go through so much meat because they're one of the largest food chains in the world. And I was watching a video the other day of a guy explaining the farms that they own and the sheer volume of meat they go through a day. Like, you're talking like millions of burgers a day in like a couple of stores. It's insane.
Doesn't
the
seem
volume.
Like they've got enough cows.
This is
the fucking aliens take them all.
But this is what the guy was saying. He said, I just do not understand. And he broke it all down as in like, look, this is a cow. You get X amount of burgers from a cow. This is how many cows they'd need. This is how big the farm would have to be just to service McJennings in like Orlando or wherever it was where they were talking about. Yeah, and it's
Are you telling me that people that are actively eating McJennings on a daily basis are getting more than the 5 a day?
What's that mean?
Getting more than just the 5 a day, because the McJennings like to put like vegetables in there now, to make sure people are being a bit more healthy.
This was a bad joke, Ollie. I won't lie.
I thought it was a great joke. But do you actually think that is happening?
Would it
some Jennings?
Would it surprise me that if there was some sort of underground network that involved the murder of quite literally hundreds of thousands of people per year? Do I think you would have to think of another way to get rid of those people rather than just burying or burning them? And if you had massive fast food chains like McJennings, and you could put this now leftover meat into factory food production, fuck yeah, I think you'd do it.
Wouldn't somebody go that might have the same thoughts as us, that is a scientist, go, I'm going to get my McJennings burger and I'm going to analyze that burger?
I don't know. I don't know if anyone's done it. By the time you've bleached it all and stuff like that, I have no idea. no idea how possible that would be.
I'm pretty sure even if I don't think there'd be a way to cover it up. If it was human, it was human.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I don't know. I've no idea.
But you're probably right. They wouldn't even think of it. And also,
And the thing
it wouldn't
is, if
have
you
to be in every Matt Jennings, would it?
no, you just put into the it could be anything, but it would make sense to me, right? If you had a like one of these massive food plants, people wouldn't even have to know. It would just be a case of like, look, we've got a load of meat. It just goes in with that. Just don't ask questions. Just this meat goes in with that.
I mean, I bet it's definitely happened. I bet there's been like probably restaurants that have been approached, in the past, and they've gone, listen, guys, we've got a shitload of fucking diced
I must say, this
beef
is
here.
there's no I've no
Pork.
evidence for this. I'm existing purely on vibes.
Yeah. Yeah, Matt Jennings. It's probably just bullshit. You keep eating that Big Mike.
But when you think we live in a world where we know that the great and good and powerful go and do ceremonies in front of a massive owl at Bohemian Grove, we know this proven. Then we've got Epstein Island, where unfucking godly things happen there. And Alex Jones told us in the 90s and turned out to be 100% right. In fact, probably downplayed it slightly. We live in a world where the government, or at least the US government, is trying to convince us that aliens exist, even if they're doing it like tongue in cheek and not like flirting with it a little bit. I just don't think. We live in a world where I think they faked a pandemic and shut the world down. Like I think
100%.
I mean, they faked the pandemic, but what I'm saying is I think they faked the virus by using existing stuff and then fucking like iffy PCR tests to shut the world down. Would it be that much of a would it be? Is it that far of a leap to go?
Well, you could get those tests because I saw it done in one of my old jobs. You could get those tests to turn positive with orange juice.
Well, that they weren't PCR tests.
Oh, were they not?
No, they were like the. Yeah, I know
The
what you
shit
mean.
tests.
Yeah, you could do it with fucking fruit shoot as well.
Just to kind of like, because I know we're getting to that finishing up mark. So, have you seen the breaking news today from the UK involving Epstein Island?
No.
So the royal family have agreed to basically totally comply with the police for anything to do with Prince Andrew and the Epstein case.
Do you think anything's going to happen?
I no. If I'm honest, no. I just think they've just released that. I don't think I can't see a situation where Prince Andrew is locked up.
No, I
something.
can't either. No,
I mean, it
can't.
depends what comes out. It depends what else comes out in these files. I mean, there's that image of him pinning somebody down to the floor that is covered up. I want to see the face. I want to see the face of whoever is being covered up. Not, I mean, forget the Prince Andrew thing. The thing that we've seen in a lot of these cases.
Well, you're not going to see the face of the victims.
Okay. What I do want to see, though, is I want to see the names. The names of all those redacted things they were all in the jerky as well. All the names were redacted.
There was one email which just
Give us the
said
fucking
pizza.
names.
There was one email that just said pizza. Both names were redacted. Why? The only word on that email was pizza. But for some reason, both names were redacted.
Because it's somebody we know.
Regardless of that, why? Why are you redacting that? What is so... The single word pizza. Why are those names redacted from that? I don't care.
I'll tell you for why. Because I think probably the end of this year, without a shadow of a doubt, you'll see it on CNN, you'll see it on the BBC, it'll be everywhere that these code names did mean children. I think that will come out in the news. I don't think we'll have to guess anymore. Because I think we're very close to that. And I think when that comes out, then people are going to start demanding the names.
Do you know what this makes me think of? I'm amazed we got here, to be honest. I'm amazed we're here.
I can't believe this has happened this year. Cause I thought it was done and dusted. I think we even did a show last year and we said, I think both of us on the show, I said, I think that's it. That's all we're going to hear. Epstein goes as far as here.
Yeah.
I think that was when Guthrie had offed herself.
See, I never know how much fucking stock to put in the Q stuff. What I would say is I think without QAnon, I think there's a lot of the stuff we're not talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's shone a light on a lot of things. Whether that's true or not, fuck knows. Whether we're supposed to be talking about it, fuck knows. But I think it was definitely got people talking about things that they wouldn't have talked about anyway. And it always brings you back to that line they saw that Q signed so many so many Q drops off with. So nothing can stop what's coming. And then there was the Project Looking Glass conspiracy that involved the QAnon stuff, which was the idea that they'd created what they called the Looking Glass, where they could see into various timelines, and it was because it sounds ridiculous, this sort of stuff, and in a way it is ridiculous, but there's so much stuff now that should be ridiculous that really isn't. Is it that ridiculous anymore? Mate. The idea that the Project Looking Glass was helping elites look into the future, and regardless of what they did or what decisions they made and what timelines that was, they were terrified because all possible futures converged. And it makes me wonder whether that's why the fucking...
Wasn't there also a date that it couldn't see past?
Yeah, people say that. I kind of think that's bullshit.
Mm.
But that's the remote viewing side of it. And don't get me wrong, Project Looking Glass is probably bullshit as well, but it's just a fun story to say, to wrap the show off with. But it does make me wonder whether, if that's true, and regardless, it kind of makes sense now, because there's been so many things. So that's, even if you look at Trump getting in, and then there was the election stealing, and then he gets back in, and in between that you've got COVID, and that doesn't work, and Epstein disappears, and that still hasn't worked. And it just makes me wonder, is that what they mean by it didn't matter what they tried to try and alter the future, all possible futures converge to the same point, and we are living in that point where all futures are converging. And this is what This is what it is. This was what they were scared of, where they all converged, was that the truth came out about what's been going on with the elites of Western society.
Well, one thing's for surely, whatever comes out in this, you lovely listeners are going to be along for the ride. Because we're going to be here
Let's hope
suffering
so.
through it.
Let's hope so. Let's hope they don't just shut the fucking internet down. I've noticed people talking about the electronic broadcast system again lately.
We're going to have to hit that.
That there's going to be there is going to be a broadcast that's broadcasted out to everybody, which is going to explain to them exactly what's going on. All very QAnon, all probably never going to happen, but it's just interesting. Let's go, Ollie.
Let's go.
Right. I hope you enjoyed the podcast, people. Please don't have nightmares, and we will be back tomorrow. Ollie.
Yes, my love.
Take us out.
I'm fucking starving.
Oh, jerky, is it?
I haven't got any.
I'll walk some over to you.
Okay.